Welcome to Inside the Film Room. I'm Kristen Earl alongside head football coach Will Healy. The Governors fell short on Saturday against number 14 ranked UCF. They are one of only 5 unbeatens left in FBS football. Coach, what did you see when you graded the film?
Some great individual performances. Obviously, Tiny sticks off the screen. I thought Kentel was playing great before he had to go out with his injury. But, I thought offensively we did some really good things. That first half was extremely competitive. As much as anything, very proud about how we came out. We started, we had energy, enthusiasm, passion. We started strong. We played extremely hard. I don't think even when the game got out of hand at the end of the game, I didn't think we ever quit. I thought we played very competitive football, especially for the first 30 minutes. But we got to learn from some of those lessons as well. We can't give great football teams, basically 2 turnovers that led to touchdowns, a kickoff return that goes the distance. So we shot ourselves in the foot a couple times, which is what I think led to the difference in the score. But what I left with was in awe about how talented Central Florida is, how well coached they are. That offense is amazing. Every time they get out on the field, you just hold your breath. And I think defensively they do a fantastic job too. It's like I felt last week, but I even am more convinced if they end the year and do what they are capable of doing, I don't see any reason why you can't at least include them in the conversation for the college football playoff. So great environment, great football team, and I thought our guys did some great things to stay competitive.
It was a night of big plays, some unbelievable catches. You have to talk about Trey Pruitt, Kyron Moore, and we can't leave out that Ryan Rakasus, an offensive lineman, scored a touchdown. What stood out to you?
Well, Rock needs to work on his touchdown dances. The 2 plays with Tiny and with Trey Pruitt were unbelievable. You almost kind of laugh at those were 2 great breaks that went our way. But I tell our guys all the time that at some point in time those breaks were going to start happening for us, and they have the whole year. So hopefully they continue. But again, I thought we played really hard. We moved the ball very effectively, especially in the first half on offense. And if you eliminate the 2 turnovers, then it's as good a first half as you can possibly play.
You can go an entire coaching career and maybe not see a player rack up over 360 yards all-purpose. Kyron Moore is the OVC's co-specialist of the week. After that 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, it's going to be hard to get anyone to kick to him again. What does Tiny do that makes him so special?
Well, he did that. The return he had for a touchdown, he did it on his own pretty much. We had 2 or 3 guys that did a good job on that play, but that of all the kickoff returns we had on Saturday, that was probably the least well blocked. So that shows how dynamic of a player he is. We feel like he's special every time he touches the ball. For him to compete like he was at that point in time, as many touches as he'd gotten on offense and then what he'd done on special teams, he wants to win. He wants to be, different, and for him to show that speed against those type of athletes, I think is impressive in itself. I gave him a hard time about the one where he broke on the screen, where if he just works a little bit to the outside, he probably scores on that one too. But Tiny's a special athlete, and what a great representation of how far this program's come.
Absolutely. Defensively, the Knights came into the game as the number 1 scoring offense in the country. We knew they would be a challenge. What did you see from an effort standpoint from these Governors?
I think we always play really hard, and that's something that should be expected around here. So their tempo gave us some problems. I think they run their tempo as well as anybody in the country. Obviously, they have great weapons. The one-on-one battles that we've been winning for the majority of the year, they won, and that led to some big plays. But we never quit, and I thought we rallied to the ball all day long. Their speed was very difficult to defend. I think their quarterback played exceptionally well. He's a great player. Like I said last week, their scheme in itself is difficult enough to defend, but when you put those weapons on the field, it's going to be a tough day for you. The thing that I'm not happy about is we gave up 73 points. but we gave up 21, not on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
You know, you give up a fumble recovery for a touchdown, you basically give up a pick six, and you give up a kickoff return. Now your defensive statistics don't look as good as they should. From a yardage perspective, we played great on defense, you know. And all the way up until about the fourth quarter, the statistics on both sides of the ball were very even. We made some decisions and some mistakes that led to that being such a drastic difference in the score. And when you play unbelievable football teams like UCF, that's what will happen to you.
You're able to give these student athletes an experience they will remember forever. What was it like as a head coach to orchestrate that last week for them and then to see their reactions? Some of them, it was just a weekend of firsts.
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to Carter Crutchfield for how we scheduled that thing about a month away, and for that trip to go as planned and without a blemish, he does a fantastic job. And the great thing about Carter is that our values and what we want these kids to experience here are two and the same. You know, he takes so much pride in making sure these kids are treated in a first-class manner. And those kids they were treated better than anybody in college football last week. And that's how I want them to be treated. That's what's important to me. That experience for them, nobody can ever top. And I thought they acted like they always do, just unbelievable human beings. Everybody who meets them and is around them is so impressed with what type of men that they are. I think that they had an unbelievable time they were too cool for Disney World last week, and then they got there and they were kids in a candy store, which is what I thought would happen.
Wearing the ears.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody got a chance to see me in the tank top on the beach and saw how much Coach L has done to transform my body. And then, the massages and just the whole trip was really unbelievable. And for those guys to come out and compete like they did on Saturday, to me, either further verifies their maturity as a football team, and they're able to flip the switch, and that was impressive to me.
Coming up, it's the Fuse Fireworks Assistant Coach's Corner. We go one-on-one with Matt Wright. Welcome back at the Fuse Fireworks Assistant Coach's Corner. I'm with tight ends coach Matt Wright. Coach, when you stepped onto campus this past summer, you saw a team that was in search for their first win. What led you to choose to be a part of this coaching staff?
I think it was the buzz that was around the program. I had coached at Lindsey Wilson College about 2 hours down the road, and we actually recruited a lot of guys in this area. I saw the types of players that they were getting because we were recruiting those same guys to hopefully get them to come to Lindsey Wilson. And you felt the buzz, you saw the talent that they were bringing in. The #1 recruiting class and all those things, or top recruiting class and all those things. There was a lot of buzz around it, and being 2 hours down the road, I felt it. And then, meeting the coaches out on the camp circuit during the summers and kind of getting to know Coach Ergel and seeing Coach Healy and Coach Satterfield and all those guys on the camp circuit during the summer, it was easy to see why people wanted to come here and be a part of the program. And that was something that I saw, and that made me definitely, when I got the opportunity to interview, come in, see the campus, see the facilities, meet some of the players and saw what was going on in the nutrition room and all the new stuff that they had added in the weight room and all those things. It was just something that I said, this is definitely something I want to be a part of, and I want to go, try to be, get an interview and be a part of it, and hopefully be able to come help and win more football games. So.
I know they're glad that you're here. Now, you coach a position group right now that could keep a low profile, more of the unsung heroes at tight ends, but this offense is utilizing tight ends in a big way. What do you hope your group brings to the offense on Saturdays?
In the offense, we have to know where we're at, pre-snap, post-snap, after movements, motions, when we shifts, all those things. There's a lot for us to know, and it's not just, where you're at pre-snap, where you're at post-snap. You got to know what's going on. So, what I hope my guys bring is just effort, and that's what I've gotten. And, we are the unsung heroes in the offense, but we're a huge part of it. And Coach Satterfield does a great job putting us in situations to be successful, and then me getting our guys, practice, coached up on the new techniques and everything we got to do that week to attack the defense and hopefully be successful. And, my guys do a great job We're young. I got 2 upperclassmen, James Coleman and Michael Hoover, and they do a great job leading those younger guys, and those younger guys have done a great job learning what they need to do, and bring, and the biggest thing they do is they bring the effort, and if your guys are going to bring effort and they have a great attitude every day, it's very easy to go coach the position group I have. Trey Pruitt, Elijah Brown, and Caleb Florence, they're learning, they're growing. We have a long way to go, but I got to get them playing like sophomores by the end of the year instead of a couple true freshmen, or 3 true freshmen. But I'm excited about the group, excited to be here, excited for the future. So.
How about Trey Pruitt's catch on Saturday? You had to be going crazy. I know you're in the box during the games.
Yeah.
I'm sure the boxers around you were going nuts, going, "What's going on here?" He's going crazy. But what goes through your head when you see a true freshman make a play like that?
It was great, and it's a testament to Trey and his effort. I mean, because if you watch the play, he goes out on a flat route and then, sees the ball's thrown and goes to, you never know. I tell my guys, you never know. Go get in the play, go get in the pick at the end of the game or at the end of the play itself. And, he was going to maybe make a block, who knows what's going to happen. And then, when you play with great effort and you play fast, you're going to put yourself in the right spot and be there at the right time to make those plays. And that's a testament to Trey and how he goes about his business on a daily basis. And then, we joked in the position room this morning when we watched the film that Trey kind of Randy mossed Tiny on the play, because Tiny was going to go try to catch the ball again, and Trey kind of snatched it from him and got his feet down. But, it was exciting, to have these guys work as hard as they do, to be the unsung heroes as we talked about, and then come back and, be in the play-by-play and be in that, the post-game box score. It's fun for them, and the whole group is excited. There's no I want mine in my position room. I feel like everybody was excited for Trey, and it's really a touchdown for the whole position group. So it was fun.
Absolutely. So. Now let's go back to your playing days. You played college football. You were an all-conference lineman, helped your team to win 3 Midwest Conference titles. How does that help you today as you lead your group of tight ends?
I was a center, if you can believe it or not, at the Division III level. Played for a great football coach, Dave Ragone, and I was an extension of him on the field. I wasn't the best, most athletic person, but I was an extension of him on the field, and that's what a center's got to be. And be able to get the offense in the right checks and the offensive line in the right checks. So I've always felt like that has been my biggest strength as a football coach, and what I bring to the table in my position room is just I feel like I have a fairly decent knowledge of the game, and run blocking, which is something we have to do here. Being an offensive lineman, I didn't catch a lot of passes like my tight ends might get a chance to do, but run blocking aspect of our offense, I feel like I got a pretty good handle and can put my guys in the right spot. And that's probably what I take away most is, coaching early. I played offensive line and then had an opportunity to coach for him at my alma mater after I was done at Monmouth College there in Illinois. And, it was a great experience. And I learned a lot from him, and just the way to coach and the way to go about things. And when you learn from good coaches, you hope that you can, and that's one thing, you learn from good coaches, then you go and you learn those things, and you try to instill those same things in your players as a coach. So.
Well, what made you decide to become a coach? How did you get into it?
My family, my father was a high school football coach, head football coach, assistant. He coached baseball as well, helped with basketball. Kind of an all sports guy. My older brother is a head basketball coach in Illinois up by Chicago. Younger brother is a head football coach in mid-state Illinois. And so, coaching is in my blood. I, went back to school late in my life to get my degree, knowing that that's what I wanted to do after coaching for my dad and being out in the real world and working in the real world for a little while. And so that was definitely something that helped me, was seeing the effect that my dad had on me, not just on me, but on other guys that I played with, and was able to, hear how other people spoke about my dad around the community and my brothers in their communities now that they're in. And it's just a great thing. And, we're a family full of coaches, and that's the biggest thing for me is just, go out and try to be the best coach I can be, and try to live up to what I feel my dad did in his coaching career, and what my brothers are doing in theirs. So
Sounds like at Thanksgiving you guys might have some competitive backyard football games for sure.
It does. We always had this saying in my family: it doesn't matter if it's tiddlywinks or football, we're gonna go compete. I don't know if anybody knows what tiddlywinks is, but it's a little game where you flip a little coin. But we're gonna be competitive. My dad was one of those guys. He never let us win when we were younger. He made us fight for it. So he may have let us win every once in a while, but he wasn't gonna tell us that. So.
Who inspires you today?
My grandfather is probably my biggest inspiration. He fought in World War II, was a sergeant, actually was a leader in the wing of one of the Sagamo prison camp. And, the biggest thing for me was seeing how people respected my grandfather around my community. And I never wanted to do anything to jeopardize the last name and what people thought of my grandfather and things like that. And that's kind of the way I've lived my life. Just do things the right way, if no pun intended there. But yeah, he inspires me. He passed away when I was 18, but to this day, he raised 5 kids on no money at all. Was a blue collar, middle of cornfield in Illinois, blue collar guy, and I saw the way he went about his business and how he handled himself. That's kind of the way I try to emulate myself. So.
Sounds like a special man.
He was.
All right, coming up, the Bojangles Player Spotlight. This week, it's Trey Pruitt. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Bojangles Player Spotlight. I'm standing next to Trey Pruitt. Trey, I'm sure when you finished the game, got back to your phone, you probably had a ton of text messages regarding that first career touchdown catch. Describe that play for me.
It was just a simple pass route. I moved over to the other side, and I thought we were going to get a delay of game for a second. And then we snapped the ball real quick, and I just went out to the flat route and turned upfield. Saw the ball was tipped in the air, and if it's in the air, it's fair game. And so I just made a play and got my feet down in the end zone. First career touchdown.
Pretty magical. You get back to your phone. Did you count how many text messages it was?
I didn't count, but my phone had blown up. I had texts from my old coaches from high school, family, of course. My parents couldn't be there. It was the first game they couldn't make it to. They were upset about that, but I had texts from brothers, sister, friends, tweets blowing up from friends back home. So it was awesome, pretty awesome feeling.
Definitely. More to come. So you are a true freshman. You are part of that #1 recruiting class. You signed with a team that was winless for quite some time. You had plenty of offers on the table. What made you decide Austin Peay?
When I came on my visit, I saw the vision that these coaches had and the entire program had and the energy that they brought to the table. Loved the coaches, and I just wanted to be a part of something that hadn't had a lot of success in the past few years, and turned it around so I could say I could be a part of it.
Before signing day, you started connecting with the fellow signees. Who started that, and how did that help bring others in?
Before signing day, we had met up multiple times and gone to each other's houses, had cookouts. J.O., he had texted me shortly after he committed, and he was, talking me up, saying it's your turn, it's your time to commit, and so knowing him, I'd grown up playing him in basketball. We had a couple mutual friends, so seeing each other around, it was a friend, and also Justin Satterfield, my roommate, he had an offer from Austin Peay, and I wanted to commit here and obviously bring him with me, and that ended up working out. So,
do you think that camaraderie off the field has helped performance on the field?
I think it has for sure, just because we know each other, and it's helped with chemistry. It's almost like we go way back. Before summer even started, we started working out together. We were hanging out and stuff, and so knowing each other and where we come from and how we are has really helped. So,
what do you think this freshman class has brought to this team?
I think it's brought a lot of energy. I think a lot of the older guys are feeling some of the pressure from the younger guys, and it's really motivated them to step up their game and play hard and be leaders out there to show us. They also want to show us what it's like to be an upperclassman and to be a leader. So I think that we've really pressured them to step up their game a little bit and brought energy to the table.
Now, in this style of offense, the tight end is used a lot in multiple sets. How fun is it to play such a big role in the offense?
It's awesome, fun to move around. We get to catch the ball, block some. running around, very similar to my high school offense, so it's good. I like it.
A lot of fun. Okay, last week, this week, best thing about last week's trip to Orlando?
Disney World. It was almost like, I haven't been to Disney World since I was little, elementary school, and it just made me feel like I was in elementary school again. It was all smiles, seeing my teammates smile. You know, we all got along so well, got our minds off of football.
Okay, so this week you play for the Sergeant York Trophy. One win captures it. What has Coach Healy said to this team about winning that honor?
We talk about being the first, and this is just another first for us. We have an opportunity to go out and win the Sergeant York Trophy, which has never been done at Austin Peay. And so we just want to be the first and rewrite history for Austin Peay.
All right, thanks, Trey. Coming up, Coach Healy previews Tennessee Tech. We're back on Inside the Film Room. I caught up with Trey Pruitt. What's it like to see Trey have success this early?
Well, we knew he was extremely talented coming out of high school. We had him in camp, and funny story about Trey, we had him on a visit the first week last year for our first home game against Tennessee Tech, and that's who we felt like we were really battling with for him, and you know, felt like that we would have to beat them to be able to get him here. His head coach actually played at Tennessee Tech, and so we knew that would be difficult. And then Tennessee Tech comes in here and just throttles us. And, you know, I think we felt like that we were further along than what we really were, and they put us in our place pretty quickly. So Trey calls us the next day as we're thinking maybe we need to update our tight end board, and he commits to us. And, you know, he said, Coach, I know what the score looked like. I believe in the vision of and the future of that program. It's where I want to be. It's who I want to play for. And I met a bunch of other recruits yesterday, and I see what's about to happen there. I want to be a part of it. And we were blown away, and it kind of got our spirits back up on that Sunday after getting our tail whooped so bad. And that's what type of kid he is. You know, that's what's so great about this freshman class is they saw this coming. You know, Trey laughs and says that Tennessee Tech staff was like, "Did you not see the score yesterday?"
Right.
You know, and I get why they would say that. I know everybody across this league has told the kids that we've recruited the exact same thing: is have you not seen what's happened? But these kids had a lot of faith in what was going to happen, and they play with the chip on their shoulder every single day to go prove a point and make those coaches wrong. And I think that's a big reason why we've had the success that we've had. Those kids were talented, but they also have a chip on their shoulder. Trey has played outstanding football for us. We felt like he would have to play as a true freshman. He's very smart. You know, he's going to put some weight on in the offseason and look like a total different human being to help himself physically by the time we get to next season. But I think he's got great hands. He understands our offense very well. He works hard at it, and he's an unbelievable human being. What a great representation of our program, and we are lucky to have him.
Now we're back in conference for the rest of the season. You go on the road to Cookeville to take on Tennessee Tech. They are coming off a win. What can you expect?
I think they're extremely physical. You know, again, this is a team that we weren't competitive against them a year ago. They handed it to us. And, you know, I know they'll be ready to play. They had a big win versus Tennessee State last week. You know, the close games that we've been fortunate enough to win this year, they've been in the same close games this whole season and just hadn't found a way to come out with a victory. I know they're playing a freshman quarterback who gets better every week. I think their tailback's a really good player. I know their offensive line has progressed extremely well. They got a wideout that is an absolute stud. He may be one of the best in the conference. Defensively, they've gone through a coordinator change, an extremely opportunistic defense. They created 4 turnovers last week against TSU that really helped them win the game. They're going to bring pressure, and they bring it from every different direction, so it's difficult to scheme for. But they play really hard. They got great players up front. They're extremely well disciplined throughout their defense. So. And I know the kickers and all-conference kids. So they're a good football team. I never, you know, I was waiting on them to win. It wasn't like that. If anything, it's been a surprise to me at how many games they have not won, because I think they're extremely talented. I know they're well coached. For them to win the first one after going 0-7, I think says a lot about their program. And our work will be cut out for us. I know it would be a tough place to play, but we got a lot on the line this week. And I know they do too. You know, if you look at it, they're 1-0 in the Sergeant York Trophy as well. So they hold their own destiny for that. And so it should be an exciting game. I can't wait to go up there and play.
You mentioned it, a win Saturday locks in the Sergeant York Trophy. What have you told your team about this award?
Well, we started off the year and said, we want this to be a team of first, that our walls around our team meeting room are empty so that somebody can go be the first and we can put pictures up of what's going on. The Sergeant York Trophy is a big deal to us. We've never won it. And this would be a huge step to show our progress as a program. Not only that, but for me, when you get beat as bad as we did a year ago and you're not even competitive, I want to show how far this program's come.
Right.
And we were out physicaled, we were out manned, they made big play after big play. They had their way with us. And I think we need to show the steps that we've made in this program moving forward, and our kids need to approach it like it's the Super Bowl. The way I'm looking at it is this is week 3 of the NCAA playoffs for me. It started at home, or it started at versus Tennessee State, then it went to SEMO. Now it's Tennessee Tech. This is the 3rd week of the playoffs. We're going to play the playoffs before we get to the playoffs, and it's win or go home for us. If you don't beat Tennessee Tech, you're out of the playoff hopes. You're out of the Sergeant York Trophy probably. So this is a big week, and our kids need to prepare like it's the biggest game of their career, because it is.
What will the Governors have to do to pick up that 6th win of the season?
We got to be disciplined with the football. We can't give them gifts. We can't give them turnovers. I always feel like in games like this, if you start strong, then you put yourself up for success for the rest of the game. We got to start strong offensively and defensively. We've got to contain the wide out. We've got to make sure that we tackle 23, the tailback. I know they got 2 tailbacks, Sheedy and Goldsmith are both great players. We got to put some pressure on the quarterback and make sure he feels some heat. I think offensively, we've got to make sure that we have a scheme prepared for the blitz that they're going to give us, because it can come from many different directions. I think what they're doing schematically on defense is very difficult to prepare for, and we got to hit the big plays when they're there. So, and then our special teams has to play like it has for the majority of the season, and that's got to be the 3rd component that wins us the football game. So, we got to bring energy, enthusiasm, and passion to Cookeville, Tennessee. I don't care what the crowd's like. I don't care how many people are there. I know we're on the homecoming trip again, and, I'm excited about getting out and playing another FCS football team. I'm excited about playing games in November that matter. Right. I know it's the ESPN3 game, which I'm sure the people at ESPN3 were like, we're going to see who play this week. But I think that's a big testament to what our kids have done, is to be able to put this game on the map, and I'm very excited about the challenge.
It will be a battle. Kickoff is Saturday at 1:30 in Cookeville. You can watch that on ESPN3, then flip over to our social media sites for post-game coverage at Let's Go Peay. Thank you so much for watching Inside the Film Room with Coach Will Healy. I'm Kristen Ergel. We'll see you next time.